When Amy told me that she was diagnosed with the BRCA gene, it hit me pretty hard.
A lot of people have the misconception they can only get the breast cancer gene from their mother. It's a misconception. I got this gene from my father. My mother is a Methodist farm girl. My dad has the Ashkenazi Jewish background. I knew to go for genetic testing because my sister had been diagnosed with both ovarian and uterine cancer, two separate primary cancers. And we had heard of BRCA testing, or the BRCA mutation. We'd heard of it. We didn't really understand it or knew what it meant. I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll get tested for it, but really didn't understand, okay, well, you test for it, but then what does that mean?
She went and interviewed several doctors, went to several facilities, and really took it upon herself to educate herself as to what the options were and where the best treatment might be. Because, you know, this will be done once and then there's no going back, really.
I went for the genetic testing at Jupiter Medical Center. Kathy Marinick was the person I was referred to. I believe I just called up and I said, who's your genetic counselor? Because I knew that I needed to find a genetic counselor in my area. I tested, and the next few weeks were spent eating a lot of chocolate and drinking a lot of wine. I had a lot of anxiety. Kathy called me. I had been waiting. I knew it would take a few weeks to get the information. Kathy called me, and I could tell. You know when you can tell on the other end of the line someone doesn't have very good news? It wasn't a voice of relief. It was a voice of, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform you.
It's a psychological weight that is on you. When your spouse is diagnosed with the BRCA gene, you can look at it one of a million different ways.
I didn't know how to react because I didn't really, at that point, even know what the next steps were. I just knew that it wasn't good.
When I first heard, I said, well, she doesn't have cancer. And that's how I kept dealing with it. I said, well, she doesn't have cancer. But at the same time, I also felt this was something that she and I needed to seriously discuss and work through. My
particular mutation, the Ashkenazi Jewish mutation 5382, carried basically the most risk out of all of the mutations. I had an 87% chance of getting breast cancer and a 44% chance of getting ovarian cancer in my lifetime. So, did it take me a long time to decide what to do? I struggled a little bit. I had wanted perhaps to have a third child. But you sit there and you think about, okay, what is in the best interest of myself and my family? I need to be here for the children that I have.
One thing I know about my wife is that she's incredibly proactive. She knew that when she got this diagnosis that something had to be done. And she was going to do whatever it took to make sure that she was going to be around for me and for my family.
I opted to get a complete hysterectomy, which means everything, because I didn't want any risk of uterine cancer, because my sister had had that. Some people just choose to get their ovaries removed. I knew that I had the opportunity to do something to drastically reduce my risk, and almost possibly even, can I say, dare I say, curing myself before there was an issue. My risk, my percentages went down from 87% to about 3%, which is actually less than now the general population.